fishing early season and you see those guys around, like I'm talking first week of April, second week of April, when you see these guys start hanging around on the river, there's bait here. Those guys tell you when the bait is here. When I see those guys, that's when I start fishing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Jag Fishing. I got my buddy Hunter here, which if you guys recall the salmon videos, I gave this guy my rod in one of the episodes and he caught that salmon. We had a great day together, but now I'm in his neck of the woods and today we're going for stripers. And before we get into all that, we got to catch some bait. Bait we're going to be catching is herring. And Hunter, what's the setup we're going to be using to catch these?
Right here, got about an 8-inch, what we call a Stoolie. And what we're going to do is we're going to wave this thing around in the water, do some figure eights. And what the herring do is they come up and follow it. So once you see them start following it, the goal is steer them towards the net, lift the net as quick as you can, and you got a herring. And get them to your striper pole as quick as possible.
All right, so there's two ways of doing it. It could be either a one-man job, which my man over here specialized in, or a two-man job. One guy on the rod, one guy on the net. So we're gonna, just so you guys can see it, we're gonna film a little piece of him doing it himself, and then I'm gonna stop being a lazy jackass, and I'm gonna grab the net and I'm gonna help him out. So this is how it's done.
So basically what I'm doing is I'm throwing it up the shoreline and reeling it back nice and slow. Sometimes you'll feel them bump it. You will feel them bump it. That's not nothing biting it or anything. Sometimes a little schoolie striper will come up and nibble the tail. But basically once I throw a cast up the shoreline or straight out, I'll sit here and I'll work it in figure eights, back and forth, back and forth. You got to keep your eyes peeled because sometimes the herring will be swimming just under the stoolie. It's good to be in tune with the tides and you know, making mental notes on when you're getting the herring the most. Sometimes the incoming tide brings more herring in. Sometimes the outgoing tide, they're there. You never know. Right now we've got an outgoing tide. Oh, there's one right there, dude. You ready? I missed him, dude. I missed him. He was there. The one that just came up to the stoolie looked a little scarce. He wasn't really all over the stoolie, but he was following it. He didn't bump it or nothing. Them ones that are bumping the stoolie all over it, you could sit here and play with them all day long, and they'll stay on the stoolie, and you steer them right to the net. Oh, there's one. Ready? Lift. Got him! Yes. That's a snickerdoodle, buddy.
So
that right there is
a
blueback herring. Perfect size. Perfect little snickerdoodle. We're going to keep them right here in the net to keep them alive and well because herring are very fragile. And the more scales you lose, the worse the quality of the bait is. You want this bait to be as fresh as can be for better success.
He's on him. I'm going to do a long lap. Get the net in the water. He's still on him. Alright guys, so that's how you catch a herring using the Stoolie method. And it probably took us a good hour or so. We had maybe 10, 11, 12 come up, but it's hard to net them. There's different ways, different nets you can use to grab them up quicker. But there's also another method, which is the sabiki rig, which actually has 6 little flies on it, and you kind of jig that thing off the bottom and you can catch like 4 or 5, potentially 6 herring at a time. However, that is most effective a little later on in the year after the herring finish spawning, when they're actually going to go and try to eat something. Right now they're not interested in it, but we got our herring out there. Now let's wait for a striper.